I mean, the other stuff I guess would fall into more like watching things and stuff like that.
Oh, well, that brings us nicely onto my favourite part of the show, which now we can just name watching things and stuff.
Yeah, that is a much more succinct name.
Yeah, but for those that like the traditional way, now it's time for Liam went to cinema, and now it's time for his spoiler time. I've ruined it.
Wow.
I got too excited and my words jumbled
You
in my
did.
mouth.
I don't even know what you said.
Now it's time for Liam went to cinema, and here's his spoiler-free reviews of the things that he saw at the cinema.
Now it's time for Liam went to the cinema and the spoiler thing.
So have we all been to the cinema in the last couple of weeks?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. What have we all gone to see?
Who
Again, Liam, you're doing the thing where you just generically talk to two other people.
Yeah, and whoever answers first gets preference. It's like a race.
I know you've talked about it, but I saw Mother.
Oh, yay! Okay. What did you think?
I liked it.
Good. I'm pleased.
Yes, I did like it, and I'm gonna have an episode coming out fully on it, and I got so frustrated when I left. I went and saw it with my friend Sean, and as soon as it ended, I was like, what is wrong with people who say they don't get this movie, and why did it have an F Cinema score? I was just so angry at, like, I don't know, people who go see movies uninformed.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, so I came away from it, and I was, like, me and Kat spoke for, like, half an hour immediately. She had one take, I had another take. But then we looked up, and it was, and, like, Darren Aronofsky, the director, was like, no, this is what I was trying to say with that movie. And I was completely off the mark. Like, I was thinking it was some sort of comment on the patriarchy and how if it's kind of left to run riot, shit gets bad.
I mean, I think that's a valid take on it.
Yeah, we did discuss it for a long time, which did make me think there's probably some merit there to that. But like me and Jack have had this discussion before, where it's like if a director says this is what I intended and you didn't get that intention, you got something else, does that make the something else that you got less valid?
See, I think that's like a larger artistic question. Like I've written about this before on like papers for classes and stuff, but like
Yeah.
the whole idea is okay, yeah, maybe that was their intention, but once they put the art out into the world, part of it is up to how the consumers of that art interpret it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think like one of the things that we've discussed in the past is how everyone brings their own personal baggage when they go to see a movie.
Oh yeah, I think like film and cinema is a very personal experience.
Yeah, like so in Mother, I'm going to try and discuss it without spoilers.
No spoilers, please, Liam.
Yeah, I'm sure this isn't intentional, but there is a scene where Jennifer Lawrence's character is sat opposite Javier Bardem's character.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that was just like framed and shot and edited, for some reason, and I don't know why, because it's not like I'd been thinking about it recently, and I'm sure it wasn't intentional, but it reminded me of the presidential debate where Trump just like stalked Clinton around the stage.
Oh.
Now, I'm sure that was not what they were trying to get at, but for some reason, watching that just triggered that in my mind.
No, I think that's really interesting because my friend Sean, who I saw it with, he's not who I had on the podcast, like on my podcast for it, but he was like, oh my God, there's so much politics going on in this.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that's a really interesting interpretation of it. I think that's part of why I liked the movie so much is because there are so many different interpretations you can take from it, whether it's
definitely.
what Aronofsky intended or whether it's what like each viewer sees. And so even if like somebody didn't like it as much, there's so much to talk about it. Like the I guess the people that frustrate me are the ones that are just like, whatever, it's a pile of shit. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, like there is so much to talk about and parse out in that movie. Like, how can your response just be like, whatever, it's awful, and that's it? Like there's so many things that you can talk about that movie.
Exactly.
And
It really annoys me when people do that.
You do it, Jack.
No, I don't, Liam. You do.
When?
Nameless.
That wasn't a movie.
No, but it's still a thing that you're taking in. Don't be pedantic.
oh boy.
Whatever. Nameless was a pile of shit. Moving on.
So yeah,
I want Jack to see Mother because I'd be so curious what his like reading of it would be.
Yeah, I will go and well, maybe not go and see it, but I will see it.
Okay. And then for a housekeeping, maybe you can just kind of give a little like, this is what I thought.
Yeah, or I guess to this section, because this is the section where we watch stuff.
Yeah, okay. So the other thing, Amanda, is I felt it was quite creepy. And I know, like, obviously we've discussed in the past with you and horror. How did you kind of handle the horror elements to it?
So, yeah, for me, since I don't do horror, and I know on the episode that I was on your guys before, we talked about that a lot. Like,
Yeah.
I went into this knowing it was an Aronofsky film, so knowing it wasn't
Yeah.
going to be horror.
Yeah, I think if you could handle, like, Black Swan, then this is
Yeah,
easy.
and I love Black Swan. It's a movie I own. So, yeah, I love Black Swan, and so I knew it was going to be much more like psychological and thriller aspects.
Yeah.
And even like watching the first trailer for Mother, I was like, I feel like this is not what the movie is going to necessarily be. Like they're trying to be vague.
Yeah.
And I like that's one of the criticisms I've heard a lot is like, oh, well, they marketed it as this. They marketed it as horror, and so that's why people didn't like it. And I'm like, but they also said it was a Darren Aronofsky film.
Yeah, I kind of wish film marketing would just fuck off.
Yeah.
Like, there's certain things, like Avenger movies, Justice League, don't need to market them, people are going to go see them. And then when you have stuff like this, if you market it wrong, like they do, it's only going to annoy the people that do go and see it, so they're less likely to want to go and see more of that sort of thing. So just stop marketing.
Right. That was like part of my point. Is I'm like, it's such an original film,
Yeah.
and I want more original films to be made. Like, yeah, of course, I'm gonna go shell out the money to go see every Marvel movie and Star Wars movie and DC movie and Fast and the Furious movie. Like, yeah, I'm gonna go see those. But those are also not typically my favorite movies of all time. Like,
Yeah.
my favorite movies of all time are very original movies.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you. I want to see Mother again because I feel like I rated it too lowly. Is that yeah? That makes sense. That's grammatically correct, I think.
No, I think I think you just say too low.
Too low. Yeah, I rated it too low when I first saw it because I think I was still processing it, and it's definitely a movie that I think you should sit with for a couple of days to kind of fully digest.
To be fair, I do think you said that, Liam, on the episode. I think you rated it and then said, but I want to watch it again because I
Yeah.
don't think that rating's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think saying, like, it's something that you want to process is so perfect, because it really is.
Yeah. What would you give it out of 5?
I think I would give it a 4.
I would agree with that, even though that's not the rating I gave it.
Yeah. Like, I think some of the symbolism is a little heavy-handed, but
Yeah.
then I also know some people are like, I didn't get it at all. And then I'm just like, do you not understand the language of cinema? But, like, that's also me being a total, like, film snob jerk, but I kind of don't care. Like, I'm just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I get so passionate about film, and so that to see something that is original and interesting and makes you think and you can talk about it, and then for people to just be like, I don't know, I don't get it. I'm like, oh my God.